you come on this show. Soon as you hear the news. No front, no front, no front, no front. No front, no front.
Hey everybody, it's your girl AM with No Friend the Podcast, man. And today, I'm here with another special topic. Today is going to be focused on mental health, basically the importance of our generation, also my community, not just the Black, but the LGBTQ community, seeking mental health. There's been a lot going on in the news. There's been a lot of suicide and there's a lot going on in regards to mental health, depression, anxiety, stress management. So I just wanted to take a moment and just talk about my personal journey, but also, just talk about mental health in general. So to kind of kick things off, we're going to focus on basically what's been going on in regards to myself and my journey. So that way it kind of allows you who all are watching to kind of chime in and add any comments. If you're listening, hopefully this is something that will encourage you to also focus on your own mental health, maybe not, or maybe some insight onto what would be going on with your strong friends. So uh, a lot uh, a lot of people would say that right now they're dealing with like depression or anxiety or just stress. When you get to a certain age, I think we just stress kind of it hits you a little bit different. I know my personal opinion on mental health definitely has changed in how I want to go about focusing on my mental health. I know I was against therapy, and I think it's just based off the stigma of how we kind of look at therapy or look at someone who is focusing on their mental health, which is it is something to be like belittled for, or to be judged, or to automatically think something is wrong with yourself just because you're thinking about going to talk to someone, or if your friend tells you they're going to talk to someone because they're dealing with some mental health issues. And even if you have someone that is kind of against it, you maybe want to kind of see why and see if there's anything that they maybe need to go for. I know for myself, for a long time, when it comes to mental health, I just assumed that I was a strong friend. I'm still a strong friend, but I was so strong that I didn't realize that I needed to kind of focus on my own personal mental and kind of take the time to focus on me and what I needed. I didn't realize that my mental health was kind of declining until like I felt numb. Like I didn't feel anything. Like I wasn't sad, I wasn't happy most days. I just went through the motions. And I don't know when it clicked that that wasn't normal behavior. Like I should feel something. But I just remember like just going through the motion, going through work. I was working out a lot. Like this is when I first started like losing weight. I was walking a lot when COVID first hit. And I think it's just because of being trapped in the house, not much to do, wasn't going into the office. Even though I had a roommate at the time, I was numb, and I just wasn't feeling like myself. I didn't feel like myself. And that was a clear cut sign that something was off. What I didn't really know, but I just know personally I felt that I just didn't feel like myself. And I wanted to get back to how I felt prior to COVID, and how I felt prior to, just prior to being numb. So what I did was, I am blessed to have a job with insurance. So I was able to kind of get more information about what I needed to do to take my mental health kind of more serious. And, I ended up starting to go to therapy. And at first it was awkward. It's like talking to a stranger about like your deep, darkest feelings. And at the moment, I didn't have any feelings. I was numb. So it's like I'm just going to talk to her and kind of explaining how I felt and kind of, trying to understand why I felt that way. And, talking to someone who was like outside looking, who didn't know me, who didn't know anyone that I knew, they were able to give different perspective. And then, of course, her being trained, and it definitely gave me viewpoints and also gave me techniques of like basically understanding my feelings and my emotions. And she kind of explained it that there are a wide variety of feelings and not just the normal ones that we all kind of associate our emotions with. And it was just basically I would talk, and slowly as things started to progress, I started to I started to understand, I started to feel sad. I think sadness was the first thing, anxious. Um, she described like the first few sessions that I wrote that she was I had anxiety because I was very anxious. I wasn't being open and I didn't really talk about anything in depth. I was just basically surface level, which is how I kept most conversations at first. And then kind of diving in deep, kind of realizing like what things I needed to work on, and a lot of past trauma. I think we Black women, particularly, have the thing about being strong and how we can't show when we're sad or upset, or it's just we have to be strong all the time. Like the stigma of a strong Black woman is real, and it's like, but what if you're going through something? What if you need to be comforted? I don't say weak because it's not about being weak. It's about asking for assistance, asking for help. And I think it was really hard for me to ask for help because I didn't think initially that anything needed to be repaired. I wasn't broken, so I'm not going to say fixed, but repaired. I feel like when you deal with certain trauma, you have to work on repairing it because it's going to affect you. Maybe not at first, but in the long end. I don't know about you all, but being depressed happens a lot. Like I didn't realize how much I was. I didn't realize how I was feeling. I didn't realize I was in depression when I had days where I didn't want to get out of bed, or I had days where I wouldn't leave the house. Like days on end, I wouldn't leave the house, and just eating bad, like just stuffing my feelings with ice cream and fast food, and just it just wasn't healthy. And I realized that that is like part of the depression, and it was a cycle of what I was going through. I would be depressed, and then I would feel like moments of happiness, and then right back feeling low. And the cycle continued as I was, going to therapy, as I was talking, as I was trying to feel things I started to feel, but they weren't always good feelings. And it kind of made me not want to continue with my mental health journey because I didn't like feeling sad. I didn't like feeling low. But now um, I'm at the point in my journey where I realize it's okay to feel low, and then you have to acknowledge that you are, but you also have to understand and get to the point where you know why you're feeling low, and then also vocalize it. If I'm not feeling it, I tell my friends, I tell, people that I hang out with, like, I don't want to hang out because I don't feel 100. I don't feel happy. I'm not okay. I'm not okay right now. And I also had to realize that it's okay not to be okay all the time. When I was feeling numb, I just went with the flow. So it didn't really matter if I felt bad, I would still go do things. It didn't matter if I felt low, I would still go out, and it would lead to drinking. It would lead to being out all hours of the night. It would lead to me not being able to sleep. I had a lot of sleepless nights, and I just didn't like how I felt. And I was like, therapy definitely helped me in that aspect because I was able to understand that, I have anxiety, I deal with depression, and it's okay because there are so many other people that are dealing with that. And if we all just realize that if we all accept that those feelings happen and that seeking help can help with those feelings. And sometimes just talking to someone is enough, but sometimes you may have to take something to feel okay. And that does not mean that you're crazy. It does not mean that something is wrong with you or that you're broken. It just means that you just need help. And we all just need help. And social media sometimes isn't helpful, and sometimes it can be helpful. I think I think for my mental, social media didn't really affect me. I look at social media like objectively, and I know that a lot of us we only post happy things. You look at my page, most things are happy. I don't really like thinking about the sad as well, and I want to share the good moments with people. But we're human. Every celebrity you follow, every Instagram model or TikTok person you follow, all these social media celebrities, they're people and they deal with things. They have bills, they have kids, they have stress, they have responsibilities. And even though we see them like on social media so happy and they're like they're living the life, it's only it's only a part, only a piece of them. You're only getting like my name on Instagram is literally snippets of me, like my actual like my personal page, because you're only getting a small sample of myself, and you have to look at that. You can't compare yourself to anyone you see on social media because no one is like you. No one is going to feel like exactly the same way. Of course, we can all sympathize and relate, but no one's going to feel the same way as you. So you're looking at someone and you're idolizing these people you don't know, and you're believing that their life is so much better than yours, and it leads you to feeling down and depressed. It's time to just reflect, and maybe it's a time to step away from social media. I think taking a social media break is healthy if that's what you need. If you feel that you want to stay connected, then of course do so. But you may want to limit your time on social media. I know social media has a very big part in our lives. Is how most people in my generation stay connected. But there's nothing wrong with limiting it to 3 hours a day or 2 hours a day or 1 hour. Just you don't have to be on social media all the time. Also, with mental health, there's nothing wrong with eliminating people out of your life, no matter who they are, family, friends. If someone is not helping your mental and they're affecting it in a very negative way, no matter who they are, they shouldn't be around. And it's kind of hard to cut people off, especially when you care. But when it comes to like your own personal mental health, when it comes to feeling happy, feeling better, sometimes it is better to cut off the people that aren't adding any substance to your life. Same thing with, and also things that aren't adding substance to your life. Like we all have our vices. We all have our vices, no matter what they are. Could be shopping, could be food, could be alcohol, could be weed, could be anything. We all have our vices. But it becomes a time where your vice could actually become an addiction, which also affects your mental health if you have to have it to feel happy or to feel complete. Because in reality, you deserve a vice. Everyone has a vice. You need a vice. You need something to relieve stress. But for your mental health, sometimes you have to switch out those negative vices or those vices that are hindering you, and switch them for things that are healthy. I know for me, working out became my vice. Working and I'm getting back to working out, eating right. And I love food, but there's nothing wrong with like trying healthy foods or mixing different things that you never tried before in regards to like activities or what you're putting in your body or even places you go may be a way to help clear up your mental. Also, there's, and of course, I'm going to mention therapy, counseling, or even a friend. You shouldn't ball up how you feel. And if you are around people that don't respect how you feel, then again, go back to eliminating those people because they don't add anything to your life. Like you shouldn't have to hide who you are and how you feel from anyone. If it gets to that point where you can't even be yourself around the people that are supposed to accept you, like friends, family, then you need to look around and remove yourself from that situation, from that group. And when it comes to your mental health, it's very important to focus on you at that time. It's not being selfish. Some people might think it's being selfish. Some people might think that you're inconsiderate, but you know, I don't know what anyone's going through, but I don't. I know that I want to be here, like here on Earth. I want to be alive. And if I feel like you're causing me not to want to be here, or I'm already low and feel like I don't want to be here, and you're not helping that, then you can't be here. Because the most important thing in my life is living. I know in regards to my mental health journey, it was extremely hard recently. Losing my grandmother was extremely hard, more than I think I actually realized it was, which took a toll in regards to my mental. And, I stopped working out. I stopped eating right. I even stopped therapy. Crazy it is, I had a traumatic experience losing someone I cared about. And the first thing I did was stop all the positive growth that I had done because it affected me. But fast forward, I'm in a better place. And because I'm more aware of how the trauma made me feel and how I want to feel, I'm starting to get back into the swing of everything. And that's going to happen. And it's going to happen. It's most likely going to happen in every journey you take. You may reach a point where you're at a standstill. You're at like the invisible wall where you don't know if you can go forward, but we have to push through. If you feel like you're alone, which I understand, like I had a roommate and I felt like I was alone. So you have to try to understand why you feel that way, but then also look to the people that are there, that are healthy, that are helping, that want you here. I don't even know any of you, or most of you watching or listening, and I want you here on earth. I don't want you gone. I don't want anyone's life. Oh, excuse me, y'all. I don't want anyone's life. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit of a cold, y'all. I don't want anyone's life to be taken away. Of course, we're all going to, of course, pass, but self-inflicted was one thing I wish that could be avoided. Suicide is definitely a hard topic, and we're seeing more and more of it. Um, like during COVID, now in this day and age, there's been a few suicides in the last few months from people who looked happy on social media, who looked happy around friends, looked happy around um, family, and they weren't. And the reason why they weren't is because you don't know. I can't speak for them, but if you are dealing with those type of thoughts, you should definitely seek help because I'm a complete stranger and I want you here. And I know the people that actually know you will want you here. So it just takes those steps of actually asking for help. There's hotlines you can call. There's if you don't have say insurance like I do. There's counselors. There are if you're religious, you go to a church. You have your pastor. You have deacons. Even if you have a friend. I think a lot of us, if we, a lot of us should be more aware of what's going on with the people around us, and also be self-aware. Like something's going on with me, and vocalizing it. Because if we want to feel better, it's not going to happen overnight. I had to realize that my mental health, like it didn't happen overnight. Me feeling numb. So repairing that, is it going to is it going to be overnight? Me being hurt or sad about like the loss. Loss happens to all of us. We all lose people, and you have to be able to accept that and understand that yes, it is traumatic, it is sad, it is something you may not ever forget. But it doesn't mean you have to remain sad about it or hurt about it or feel low. Again, sorry y'all, anyone watching. Y'all getting the cold. This Texas weather. It's like it's hot, it's cold, pollen, but uh, we have to be able to accept trauma and move through it. In regards to living it, I think a lot of times we don't live in our sadness. And I know that sounds weird, but I was so focused on not being sad. Like, I don't want to feel sad. I don't want to feel sad. I don't want to feel sad. That I started to feel nothing because I didn't want to feel low. But now, after understanding that you kind of have to, you have to feel however you feel. If you're sad, if you're depressed, you have to feel it. You can't bottle it up. You can't walk around like nothing's wrong. You can't just hide it. You can't hide it because even if no one else sees it, you see how you feel. You know how you feel. And the only thing you're doing by trying to ignore the feeling, the sad feeling, the bad feelings, is just it's not beneficial. It's only hindering you, and it's going to eventually stack up. I had my sad feelings to stack up on top of each other. I had trauma stack on top of each other. I never once stopped and lived in it and felt it and tried to understand it. I just say, you know what, I don't like this. I'm going to act like it is not going on. I'm act like I don't have this trauma. I'm gonna act like I don't have things that are not good about myself. But we all have flaws. God literally made us like with flaws, with imperfection. No one on God's earth is perfect. And I know that it sounds easier said. Like it sounds good coming out my mouth, of course. And I know that it's not easy to accept the fact that you have flaws that you know people may not like, or you have this trauma that you feel is you want to hold in because it may make you feel dirty or ashamed, or you feel like it's something that no one else will understand. But talking to someone or even writing it down will help you understand that some trauma and some things aren't on you. Some things happen to us that we have no fucking control over. That's literally life. And you have to live it because that's I feel like that's the only option. For me personally, my mental health journey, I realized being here alive is my only option. And the only way I'm able to be here alive is to feel however I feel and to tell people how they make me feel instead of hiding it, instead of just beating around the bush, or it's like ignoring red flags. We are so, I think we're just so we normalize red flags in regards to other people. Like, you have a friend, she dating a nigga that ain't shit. You tell her real quick all the red flags you see with him. But you never take a moment to look at yourself and see what red flags like you're giving off of your mental. Like, it's not normal to just cry um out of nowhere. Something is happening with you that is causing you to do that. Or it's not normal that if something doesn't go your way, you don't accept it well. People that know me know that's one of my things. It's one of my anxiety is that I don't take certain things very well. And the reason why I'm starting therapy back, personally, is because I want to know why I don't accept certain things very well. Like, I wouldn't say I throw tits or tantrums because that's not it. But if things don't go well, my anxiety shoots up, and if things continue to not go well, then my depression rate like comes out, and I get sad. And no matter how strong I look, things affect me the same way would affect things may affect you. Or um, I take things certain things well, certain things not well. And I personally want to find out why that is, because it could be something that I have no idea. It could be something that I push down. Because again, I've been years of pushing down. I didn't start therapy till I was 27. So these are I'm about to be 29. So these are things that I've just dealt with. And I just thought that it's normal to deal with things by yourself and not to tell people. It's normal to hide things. It's normal to deal with things alone. But that starts to make you feel lonely. And then I think feeling lonely is what started to lead to my depression. And I realized I'm not alone. I have, I have people. Even if you don't feel like you have people, you can find your people. You can find people that will like care and listen, and they will understand and support you. More importantly, I think if you're battling any mental health issues, it's important to have a good support system. It's important to realize that even if you are quote unquote alone or lonely, you don't have family, don't have friends, you can make those. You can make family, you can make friends. And if you want to, all you really have to do, sorry guys, all you really have to do is step out of your comfort zone. I know that's not easy when you're low, but a lot of times when I was at my lowest, going out, and not like to the club, not like going out to a bar, going out to a restaurant. Like, my therapist was like, why don't you just go out to eat by yourself? And I'm the type of person I had never sat at a restaurant, like a nice restaurant, by myself, because I felt that I was going to be judged. Like, why is she by herself? Well, she's lonely, she doesn't have anyone. But it made me feel good to actually go to a bar and sit by myself, and it actually led people to talk to me and like want to get to know me. Like, oh, you're here by yourself? That's cool. Like, do you normally go out? It led me to meet more people just by going out by myself. And this again, I'm always surrounded. You see me, I'm usually surrounded by a group of people. So it felt kind of weird to do things by myself, but it led me to realize that you're not really alone. And then realize that even though I'm at this restaurant by myself, and now I go to concerts by myself all the time. You're surrounded by people that you now have something in common with. You both have ate at this restaurant. You both have went to this bar and had a beer. You both went to this concert. So you can find people you have things in common with. You can make your tribe. I think having a tribe is important, but also realizing that having yourself doesn't mean that you're alone. And yes, you may feel lonely. I feel lonely all the time. I mean, I'm human. When I'm alone in my house, I feel lonely. When it's raining outside, And you want somebody to cuddle up with, sometimes I feel lonely. But I'm not alone. If I go step outside right now and go down the street to go get some food, I can literally start a conversation with a random person, and now I'm no longer alone. I've met this person, we've talked, we have something in common, like the same place, and it made me feel when I do that, it makes me feel stronger because it's not easy dealing with your mental. It's not easy dealing with life. I think as a kid, we don't. And when you're younger, when you're a child, you don't really know what it is to be an adult. And when adulthood hits, that shit hits. It hits like a fucking semi truck with all the things that we have to deal with. And I feel like if I was able to dive into how I felt as a kid with trauma that I did with as a kid, then I would be probably in a better mental state than I am now. But at that time, I felt like there was a stigma in regards to asking for help or talking about the things I was going through mentally. And now I'm at the place where I realize that we all need help. We all need somebody to talk to. We all need to express how we feel, whether it's through music, whether it's through poetry, whether it's through your clothing line or your business or whatever you have going. You do need an outlet that is positive. I don't know who may be listening, who needs to hear this, but if you are dealing with any mental health issues and you don't want to be here on earth, you don't want to be here alive, I want you alive. People that may have met you want you alive. And even if it's hard, ooh, I know it's hard. I know it hurts. That's also a thing. People don't think about how much pain, like mental pain hurts. Mental pain hurts worse than any tattoo I've gotten, any piercing. Sorry, you guys are watching me a little emotional because it's a very serious topic. And I think that if we would just appreciate everyone's struggle and be more understanding to struggle and pain, um, or at least say it. I think we all feel sad when we see someone commit suicide. It's tragic. It is sad. That's a life gone forever, and it was the choice of that person. Like you didn't want yourself to be here, and you have all these people that don't even know you that are sad that you're gone, and they were happy that you were here. You just didn't know. So if you are dealing with any mental health, seek help, and it's okay to seek help. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm so sorry. All right, if y'all watching this live, I apologize. Sorry, to get a little sad. Anyone's listening. This is a serious topic. Dealing with, like mental health is very serious, and again, if you're listening, if you're watching, if you need help, seek it. There is nothing wrong with it. If you have past trauma, you have to face it. You can't push that shit down. Eventually, it's gonna boil up. You're gonna it's gonna boil up to the point where you're gonna let it out. And a lot of times, it's not let out in a positive way because you don't know how to let it out in a positive way. Because trauma isn't positive. Trauma is traumatic. Trauma hurts. Trauma changes you. Trauma literally changes you. And we all have things that have happened to us that have changed us into different people. And we all have to realize that we're all human. And you do have to check in on your friends, but you also have to check in with yourself. Um, Mental health starts with you. You have to see what is best for you to fix you. And when it comes to everyone else, they should be supportive, understanding, um, and they probably have been there too, you know. But yeah, with my journey, I'm starting back going to therapy. I stopped for for my own self. I stopped because I didn't think I needed it. I stopped because I was hurt. I stopped for all the reasons I didn't want to go originally. I felt like I was cured. But I want to start back because there are some things that I do need to work on and I need to repair. And if you're worried or shame about, anything of that nature, don't be. There are more people than you know that are in therapy seeking help than there are people talking about it. So do what you got to do. Focus on your mental health. And again, it's going to be a journey. I'm on a journey for my mental health. It isn't something that is going to be done quickly. So take your time with it. And if you don't want to talk about it with friends and family, don't. But focus on you. You know, make sure you're okay. Because again, if you feel like you don't want to be here, I want you here. AM with No Friend the podcast wants you here. Everyone is listening, watching. If no one else do, I don't even have to know you to want you here. I don't have to know you at all to think that your life is worth it. Your life. Oh, sorry, yeah. Your life is precious. It's priceless. You only get one, and you got to live it. Even if you are like quote unquote by yourself, even if you don't have people, be your person. Eventually find your people. Find what makes you happy. Me personally, I do love being outside, and I used to think that I had to do things with people, but now I realize that I want to do things with people, but I don't have to. And I understand that I want me here and that there are people that don't know me that want me here. And then the people that do know me definitely want me here. So anyone that's dealing with anything, I highly recommend it. If you're dealing with anything emotionally, mentally, um, any trauma you're going through, it's worth taking like a moment and seeing what resources are out there for you because your life is worth it and you won't be able to know that if you're not here, and you won't know how good things can get if you're not here. So I'm going to sign off with basically stating that I wish everyone in their journey, especially mental health journey, takes it seriously. They that you take your mental health seriously. You take it slow. It's literally one day at a time. There is no rush on repairing things because there could be years of things that have affected you mentally. So take your time, but look into repairing yourself. Look into being whole mentally. Look into completing yourself, no matter what that means. And again, know that AM loves you. AM wants you here. And whatever support you need, I'm here. Hey, you can slide in my DMs, no friend of podcast, or message me, even comment on this picture, or comment on this post. If you're listening, you know, um, still slide in my DMs. I'm here to listen. I'm a great listener. But I just want to sign off. I want to thank everyone for listening, everyone for watching. It's been a very real episode. Everyone watched me get emotional. Very serious topic with everything going on. But I want to thank you all. It's been another great episode. I love you all. Peace.